I want to quickly talk to you about e-commerce fulfillment, and we want to talk about Newegg Logistics, Stag, and ShipMonk. And of course, we're talking about fulfillment, but not only fulfillment, but also 3PL, so third-party logistics. So here's a review I want you to pay attention to. So I first want to review real quick Newegg Logistics. And when you think about Newegg Logistics, I want you to think about full service. Full service logistics, they're really this is a company that offers same day shipping, and they also have about 99 to 99.5% inventory accuracy, and they also have same day fulfillment rate. So that's really good in terms of optimizing your inventory, right? So I want to quickly talk about the pros and cons of this player. So the pros first, they actually manage the returns for you. They have a 24/7 customer service, and they have fast shipping across the US. So you are talking about 91 to 95% of orders that are delivered in 2 days. So that's really good in terms of fulfillment optimization. And what about the cons? Well, you do have steep, oversized item fees. So that's really a concern for many e-commerce entrepreneurs. You have limited integrations, and Newegg Logistics has only five warehouses as of right now. So when you think about Newegg Logistics, I want you to think about a provider that really has a couple of e-commerce solutions, including shipping, kitting, and assembly services. And they also have a reverse logistics. So for example, I'm talking about returns, right? They also extend 24/7 across the United States, and they also give you 24/7 access to their customer service team in case you run into any problems. So we love that a lot in terms of being there for the customer. So that's really cool. And so their major differentiator is their partnership with Indiegogo, making them one of the top choices for crowdfunded ventures that need cross-docking solutions. So if you have non-standard sized items, though, think a 42-inch TV, Newegg Logistics adds a fee on top of their standard structure. So that's really something to keep in mind. They only integrate also with a limited number of platforms. I'm talking about Amazon USA. They have eBay Fulfillment, Seller Cloud, ShipStation, Shopify, Scubana, and Walmart. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. Make yourself comfortable. You are going to enjoy today's conversation. So when you think about Newegg Logistics, I want you to think about the fact that their pricing is a little murky. They're not really transparent when it comes to pricing, and this is actually a challenge for a lot of e-commerce entrepreneurs. And the thing is that they don't have a pricing structure for their logistics product as a whole, but they do have some pricing information on their shipped by Newegg service that you're gonna have to go to that section on their website, because they keep changing the fees all the time. So we didn't want to really show you like fees that might not be valid tomorrow. They also have a fee calculator for their shipping and handling services. So that's really cool in terms of giving you some kind of indication of how much you might have to pay. But the cool thing is that you can request a quote by filling out their form at the bottom of their services page for more specific prices. Now the thing is that when you actually contact Newegg Logistics, you got to be ready with three things. They're going to ask you where your customers are mostly from, right? The destinations you want the product to be shipped to, and the value that you are going to, the value and nature of the services. So the value of, I would say, shipments, but also the nature of services you're going to need from Newegg Logistics. So this is the trifecta that will really underpin the kind of pricing they give you. So that's really important. You got to have those three products. And what we have found in our research is that Newegg Logistics is really willing to work with all kinds of entrepreneurs, drop shippers, wholesalers. They will work with you if you are a retailer. Even if you're not an e-commerce, they will still work with you. In other words, you can have a regular a regular store, and you want to really expand your operations. Newegg Logistics will really work with you. So that's what we love a lot in terms of flexibility, because that's really good. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about Newegg Logistics versus Stag Fulfillment versus ShipMonk. I want to talk to you now about Stag Fulfillment. So when we talk about Stag Fulfillment, what we love about this company is that they are really, really, really fast. Okay. So every order fulfillment company will tell you it's committed to a reliable service, but Stag Fulfillment really walks the walk and puts their money where their claims are. They are really good in terms of speed. They're good in terms of inventory optimization, and they're good in terms of customer service. So that's really good in terms of helping you with your 3PL initiatives, with your fulfillment initiatives. And it doesn't matter whether whether you're thinking about, let's say a B2C or a B2B, they'll work with you, not a problem. Okay. And they'll also do first mile, last mile, middle mile. That's really what we love about Stag Fulfillment. I want to quickly talk to you about the pros and cons of this company. So I want to first start with the pros. Pros, short-term contracts are available. So they'll work with you on a 3-month, 6-month, 9-month, 1-year basis. Not a problem. And Stag Fulfillment is great for oversized, high value, or fragile products. And they actually will pay you inconvenience fees to ensure fast shipment time. So that's their commitment to make sure they take care of your orders as soon as possible. So that's really good. So those are the pros, at least some of the pros that we have found. What about the cons? They do have high minimums, and Stag Fulfillment is not really suitable for lightweight items. So if you are actually, if you're selling like a piecemeal items or you're selling very small items, you do not want to go with Stag Fulfillment. You want to go maybe with Newegg Logistics, who knows, okay? And Stag right now only has 2 locations. That's a problem. That's really a problem because if you're a dropshipper, or let's say you are an e-commerce entrepreneur who would like to sort of canvas the whole United States, if you're dealing with a 3PL player that only has 2 locations, that could be problematic at times. But hey, listen, they're so good anyway, but those are the little detriments you need to think about when you consider Stag for your fulfillment. Now, one thing we love about Stag is that they have the inconvenience fees. Those are really good because this serves as an incentive for Stag to really get the job done as soon as possible, right? So if the company doesn't unload your shipments within 48 hours of arriving at its facility, Stag Fulfillment will pay you $50 for the inconvenience. And you can say, well, $50 is nothing, but think about how many clients they have. And if they had to pay those clients $50, that could really add up real fast, right? And if an order is not shipped according to your service level, so next business day, 3 p.m. cutoff or 5 p.m. cutoff, you don't need to pay for that shipment, and you will receive again $50. So this is another layer of inconvenience fees. And if the company ships the wrong item to the incorrect number of let's say, the wrong item or the incorrect number of items, it will fix the mistake, not charge you for the shipment, and pay you $50 again. So it's one of those things where you can see that this can really add up fast. What we love about Stag is that they're constantly updating their policies, and they're constantly sort of updating their policies vis-a-vis what's happening in the market. And so Stag, for instance, guarantees no shrinkage, and they take full responsibility for any damage that happens in its warehouse. So that's really cool. And so their handling policies make them the best for oversized, fragile, and high value items. And so Stag Fulfillment is also able to reach 99.9% of Americans within 3 days, 97% within 1 to 2 days. So that's really cool. So this is an ideal solution in our analysis for smaller stores, as well as because there are no long-term contracts and no order minimums. And Stag Fulfillment specializes in handling and shipping large, bulky items. So this is not really your solution for small items. And while they can ship lightweight items, you will still pay for handling services that will be more valuable for heavy products. So that's one of those things where you have to think about. Boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about Newegg Logistics versus Red Stag Fulfillment versus ShipMonk. I want to quickly talk to you now about ShipMonk. So when you think about ShipMonk, I want you to think about a relatively recent player in this e-commerce fulfillment field. But in the last 10 years, they've been kicking ass like crazy. It's just fantastic. I mean, they actually started out in 2014, and they have warehouses in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, of course, San Bernardino, California, Pittston, Pennsylvania, and Tecate, Mexico. And it's one of those things where, you know, ShipMonk is kind of cool if you're trying to diversify your logistical operations. Okay, and the cool thing is that this company is constantly investing heavily in warehouse automation technology, achieving 99.9% picking accuracy. So that's really cool. Let's talk about the pros and cons of this player. So the pros first. There are no order minimums. You have plenty of branding options. So we always love the fact that when you have a fulfillment company that they are helping you brand. They're helping you with branding. Okay, so you have plenty of branding options. They have integrations with major e-commerce platforms. And here is a player that's built for crowdfunding campaigns. And the player also has international shipping capability. So that's really cool. I mean, we love that a lot. And what about the cons? Well, for all the goodies that ShipMonk has, they only have 4 warehouses. They're actually adding a 5th one really soon. And they're constantly having fulfillment centers across the board. So that's really cool. But right now, they don't have like that many warehouses. And they have a minimum monthly pick and pack fee. So ShipMonk is really great for small businesses because they do not require a minimum number of monthly orders, but they will also work well for medium and larger businesses too. They also allow sellers to customize their packaging according to their own branding. So that's really good in terms of giving you the ability to do the things you have to do. And they integrate with major e-commerce platforms. So that's really fantastic. And so the feature that sets ShipMonk apart is their crowdfunding fulfillment, which is explicitly designed for crowdfunding campaigns. So here is another player that's really trying to take advantage of that part. As a bonus, they have subscription box fulfillment and FBA prep services as well. So this is really cool. And although they do not impose a monthly order minimum, they do have a $250 minimum pick and pack fee per month. $250. In terms of pricing, now the pricing for a ShipMonk is a little murky, and you're gonna have to contact them to really have more information. The reason is that ShipMonk actually has what we call a layered fee structure based on the orders that they have per month, and on top of that, they will actually add other fees, including the maintenance fees. Okay, so the thing is that basically from 0 to 500 orders per month, they're charging you $250 for the first item in an order and 50 cents for each additional item. For 501 to 1,000 orders per month, they're charging you $225 for the first item in an order and 50 cents for each additional item. For 1,001 to 2,500 orders per month. So the thing is that this will be $2 for the first item in an order and 40 cents for each additional item. So you can see that you moved from 50 cents for each additional item to 40 cents. So that's really cool. For 2,501 to 5,000 orders per month, you will have to pay $1.80 for the first item in an order and 35 cents for each additional item. From 5,000 to 10,000 orders per month, that's $1.50 for the first item in an order and 30 cents for each additional item. And if you have over 10,000 orders per month, this is actually you have to contact ShipMonk for a quote. I mean, this will require some custom pricing for you. And but the cool thing is that they're really fast. They will get back to you real fast, and they'll sort of steady your operation and really give you a custom quote. But that's really good. So what is our decision here? So when we think about Newegg Logistics versus Red Stack Fulfillment versus ShipMonk, which one should you go for, right? Well, it really depends on the nature of your operations. But it really also depends on where your customers are located and the items you're shipping. There are a few questions you need to ask before selecting your order fulfillment company, right? You got to ask them about the number of warehouses they have. This is important because depending on the geography of your customers, you want your fulfillment to be closer to them. You got to ask them about the space they have in their warehouses. In other words, you want to know how much space a fulfillment company's warehouse has, especially if you sell large, bulky items. And warehouse size gives you an idea of how much of your inventory they can house and when you can order more items. So that's an important element. And also the location of the warehouses plays an important role also because you don't want your shipping company to have only warehouses in New York, whereas all your customers are, say, in California or in Florida, for instance. And you got to ask them about the transactional nature of their operations. In other words, what are their minimums? Because larger order fulfillment companies sometimes require their customers to meet a minimum order threshold. So they may not be a great option for smaller stores. This is another element for you to really pay attention to. So, and another thing is you got to ask their policy around lost or damaged items. For instance, Red Stack Fulfillment is paying you inconvenience fees. That's really cool. I mean, because that really puts an extra layer of pressure on their staff members to make sure they are really fast. And not only fast, but fast with quality work. And you also want to think about the specific services that the fulfillment company provides, because the last thing you want is to have a fulfillment company that doesn't provide the specific service that you need, right? So that's important. So big question is Newegg Logistics versus Red Stack Fulfillment versus ShipMonk. Which one should you go for? Our preference is Red Stack Fulfillment. Why? Because Red Stack Fulfillment, even though they only had two warehouses, the inconvenience fees actually are there to make sure that they have high quality work. Now, Red Stack Fulfillment is not good for you if you are shipping smaller items. If you have smaller items, go with ShipMonk. Okay, and or ShipMonk or Newegg Logistics. Now, if you're looking for a company that's a little oriented towards the international market, go with Newegg Logistics. Newegg Logistics actually is part of the marketplace Newegg, and so that's really good in terms of the opening to the world. So that's really good. But go for Red Stack if you're looking for faster work. Go to Newegg Logistics for smaller items. Go to ShipMonk for smaller items. And if you want faster customer service, go also to Newegg Logistics. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I just did a quick compare and contrast between Newegg Logistics, Red Stack Fulfillment, and ShipMonk. So I did the review and then the decision, and I give you the winner. The winner for us is Newegg Logistics. It's Red Stack Fulfillment. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.